Okay, it's Geoff Lewis here from Seriously Series. I'm not one for doing handheld camera work, but today we're going to be looking at a fair bit of interesting stuff here. Today what I've actually been given delivery of is a Front Runner Slimline 2 roof rack from Daniel and the team at the Expedition Centre. They've given us this roof rack at a very fair discount, and we're going to have a look at actually putting it together, because I had a look at the instructions, and the instructions say it takes 30 minutes, half an hour to put a roof rack together. I'm a bit dubious about that. But anyway, they claim it will take 30 minutes to put together. Let's have a look at it. So join me as we see how easy it is to put a Front Runner Slimline 2 roof rack together, which can typically fit on a Defender 90 or even better on an 88 Series 3. Bit of promo info here. Be the one that got away. I think I'd prefer to be the one that stays behind, really, if you're in a nice place, but that's just me. Okay, so they claim that all of these boxes go together in 30 minutes. Now, I've never put one of these roof racks together. As you can see, I've taken the instructions away because I'm a man. And you don't look at the instructions until all else fails. So in these little boxes here, we've got our stays. So these actually join on the, got these stays. And these actually join on the obviously from the roof rack to the sill. These are aluminium. So they're pretty light. That's only probably a bit over a kilo, which is good to see. We've then got these here, which are the runners, which I'll have to take out. And the great thing I like about these roof racks, and it's just a really good feature. Like, some people probably give these roof racks a bit of a bad rap. There's people out there who just love ARB or TJM, and it's just all they want to do all day, every day, is just have TJM and ARB gear. And it is fantastic products, but the thing I like about this is you can actually get your bolts and you can put it in here. In here. And these runs along here. And by doing that, you can actually bolt on your jerry can holders. You can bolt on your wolf packs or your space cases. You can actually bolt it all onto the rack. You can bolt your spare wheel on. Everything is modular. Everything bolts in together, and I really like that feature. And that's just something you don't get, or something I haven't found with any other roof rack out there on the market. The South African gear is basic, it's tough, it's tried, it's proven. It is really good kit, and that's one of the reasons why I'm keen to get this roof rack, to actually see if it is just as good as some of the other roof racks out there, whether it can take the pounding. And we do use our gear properly here at Seriously Series, and we do give it a really good run for its money. So it's going to be really exciting seeing how this all goes together and seeing how it performs over the next few months, because I will probably initially use this on our Series 2, my Team 61 Series 2 Land Rover, and later on it will go on the Series 3. So it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. So I've got some unwrapping to do, and I've got some nuts and bolts to stick in. So let's see if it takes 30 minutes to put all this together. Rightio, so here's the Front Runner roof rack all put together. Now, I did say in the instructions, which are somewhere over there, that it was meant to take 30 minutes. Didn't quite take 30 minutes, maybe that's due to me, but it did take probably took about an hour and a half, because I actually read the instructions, which I know is a big no-no for some of you out there, but when in doubt, read it. So I've put it all together and I've measured up where I want the actual slats in the roof rack too, because the fantastic thing about this roof rack, as opposed to, I'll just move these out of the way because I won't be fitting them on, is you can actually design the roof rack as you want it, which is great, because the fantastic thing is you've got these runners that run along here, and you can actually put bolts in here and they actually just clip in place, and I'll show you that in greater detail in a moment. One of the things about the Front Runner gear, and I've said it is a bit basic in its overall engineering, but one of the fantastic things I like about it is this box here is literally what it came in, the whole roof rack. Now, the fantastic thing about this is, particularly here in Australia where freight costs are actually quite high, and particularly being on the west coast, we're a little bit more limited of choice in some ways, and particularly living in a regional area like myself, freight is probably one of the biggest things we have to pay for. So having something that comes in a compact array is really, really handy. And I was really amazed actually when it got dropped off, and I was like, oh, is that really a roof rack? Like, is there a roof rack in there? Or have they given me a TARDIS? But looks like I got a TARDIS. So anyway, we'll have a bit closer look at the roof rack, and I'll just sort of give you my overall opinion as to why I'm quite excited about this roof rack, and potentially what it has to offer for the Series 3 and future adventures. Hey, so as you can see, we've got the Parenti here behind me. That's in Drydock at the moment, a little term I like to use. I like to take my vehicles off the road sort of once every 6 months, or do a major overhaul every 12 months. That way you can just keep on top of things and you don't have to spend months and months working at it. It's just a bit easier. So I'll cover this in another video, what we're actually doing here and the future projects that we've actually got lined up for all our vehicles here in WA, and Damon's going to cover his end over in Tasmania, because we've actually got something really exciting happening in June of this year. So that's going to be coming out on Patreon. Patreon, yes, I did say that correctly, Patreon, and later it will be brought out on YouTube. So for those of you who've signed up to Patreon, keep an eye on that spot, and for those of you who are supporting us via YouTube, keep an eye on this spot too, because it will be coming out just a little bit later on. Anyway, let's have a look at this roof rack. The roof rack I've got here is a 1900mm in length. So the reason why I went for that is the 88-inch, the actual roof works out to be about 2 meters in length, and by being 2 meters you can either get a 1900 or a 2.2 meter or a 2200 millimeter roof rack. Now the problem with that is it's too long obviously for the vehicle, so I had to make a compromise to go for the 1900. Now I'll just show you a few party tricks with this roof rack. It's quite different in its design. There are other ones out there on the market that are using a similar setup. So you've got these runners here, and this little hole here you can actually put your nut or your bolt in, and then you can slide it across this channel. So you can slide it here, and this means you can actually fit a lot of accessories on your roof rack. It's actually really easy to accessorize it. So this is going to be the front for us. So we'll have the jerry cans here. We'll probably, for future trips, we'll probably cut it down to just 2 jerry can holders on the roof. 3 was a little bit excessive, but that was just due to the nature of the trip. The other thing is too, we'll be fitting the spare wheel up the back here. which we've already got the Front Runner bracket for it too, and the jerry can holders are also Front Runner also. The Wolf packs, which are the black, almost like ammo boxes made out of plastic, they actually bolt perfectly in these channels too, and they've actually got holes in the bottom designed for the bolts to go up through, so it's a really, really good design. The other thing I like here too, and I'll just take you in a bit closer, is we've got this valley here. Now in the valley we can obviously put, as you can see here, we can put nuts in there, but on the underside of it, here, this is where there's a really, really good trick. So the way that these are actually held in place is there is actually a Allen key bolt that goes up from underneath, and in here you simply drop a nylock nut in, slide it along and tighten it up. But this means that I can actually move this along, I can move it along, I can move it back, I can do what I've done here, and I can put two runners close together. So it's very, very versatile in how it can actually be used in that regards. So I think overall as a concept it's actually really quite interesting, and I'm really keen to see how it go on the Land Rover. So one of the key reasons why we went for the Front Runner roof rack, and I think this is a point worth discussing, we did actually go for the ARB Deluxe, I think it was, roof rack for the Series 3, which was designed for the Defender 90. But the problem with that was that when we actually got it, it simply wasn't big enough for what we wanted to do. We fitted the jerry cans to it, the jerry can holders, and then we could fit a swag in there, and that's it. Now, the amount of weight, and I've said this in other videos, the amount of weight that we actually carried on our roof rack on the Series 3 was actually too much. I'm happy to admit that it was probably a bit too much, but we had no choice. And as I've said to other people too, particularly at the Perth 4 Drive Show, because the 2.25 litre doesn't have a fantastic overall fuel consumption or fuel usage compared to a modern four-wheel drive, you very quickly go through the 80 or 100 litres that are up there just in a matter of a few days. So it's alleviated from the roof rack and the overall pressure that puts on the frame of the vehicle. The other thing is too, we are using petrol, which petrol has a weight of 700 grams per litre, compared to water, which is obviously 1 litre is 1 kilo, and I believe, having a chat to a few engineering friends of mine, that diesel is obviously slightly heavier too, but I won't get into the nuts and bolts of that. So we will be carrying less on this roof rack, cut a long story short there. But obviously it couldn't carry what we wanted, the ARB roof rack. The other thing is they are a fantastic roof rack. Hands down, they are a brilliant roof rack. You do pay a lot of money for ARB kit, but you get what you pay for, and they are a good roof rack. But the thing I like about the Front Runner gear, particularly this, is the amount of accessories that you can actually bolt onto it. So I've mentioned the jerry can holders, I've mentioned the spare wheel mount, but you can even put a bottle. You can even put, I saw this the other day, you can even put a bottle top opener on the side of your roof rack. How convenient's that? That's brilliant. So you can do that. The other one I quite like, which I wouldn't mind purchasing myself too, is it's very simple. All Front Runner gear is. It's just a steel bar that comes out from your roof rack with a hook on it, and that's so you can put your shower bag on it. So it's the right height, so you can actually have a shower. Because sometimes where you're camping, especially if it's on the beach, there's very few trees around, so it's a handy thing to have. So I think that's a good addition too. And look, I can't remember how many different little add-ons and adaptations you can get, but check out the Expeditions website. We'll put the web link down below in the content section here, but have a look through it, because it is absolutely fascinating what this company's done and what this company has put into actually refining the roof rack. And that's sort of one thing that I'm not criticising ARB, I'm just critiquing it. It's one thing that ARB sort of, they produce a very good roof rack, a very basic overall roof rack, but a lot of the adaptations that go onto it obviously can't quite compete with the amount of refinement that you can actually do for your own use with the Front Runner roof rack. So I haven't tested it yet, so maybe I'm getting a bit too excited, but we'll take it out on the trail, we'll knock it around a bit, we'll put a little bit of load on it and see how it performs. This is the first time I've bought a aluminium constructed roof rack. That's right, it is aluminium constructed. The runners and the overall frame, but it does get its strength from the overall moulding of the runners and that too. So it will be interesting in that regards. So we'll wait and see. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little video. We'll be making more videos like this as we slowly work through the fleet. We're slowly upgrading them and fixing a few issues that we've had, mainly over the past sort of 12 months that I myself haven't got to, and Damon too. So I hope you enjoy them. And if you want to see more videos like this, please click on the subscribe button below. And if you want to support the generation of content here at Seriously Series, please click on the Patreon icon at the top left hand corner of your screen. And I'll catch you in our next video.